Shah Rukh Khan is a megastar. His success story mirrors that of a nation coming of age. More popular than any Hollywood contemporary, he was born of television. An anti-hero who captured the imagination of a youthful India and beyond. A chameleon-like star, he encapsulates the energy of an economic powerhouse rushing into the 21st century. For 2 decades, he has recorded the biggest Bollywood blockbusters. Shah Rukh Khan's phenomenal rise has inspired an entire generation of Indians to seize the new while celebrating the old. Mumbai, India's ultimate dream machine, home to the stars. Mannat, a sacred space. Here, believers from all corners of the world gather to pay respects to a Bollywood icon.
Famous chocolate cake from Austria, very famous.
Today is special.
मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ, शाहरुख खान के घर में झाड़ू भी मार सकता हूँ।
It's the king's birthday.
मेरे लिए भगवान से पहले
And a sea of humanity waits for a glimpse of their favorite superstar.
गरम गरमा गरम समोसे गरम।
सच सुबह से बैठे हुए हम 9 बजे से यहाँ।
For an entire generation of Indians, he represents the birth of the new. A middle-class boy who captured the spirit of a nation.
He is the face of the new post-liberalization India in every way, in the characters that he does, in the global kind of persona that those characters have, in I think also his personal life, in the way he has been, you know, he was one of the earliest to do ads, and the way he was one of the earliest stars to become a brand.
Shah Rukh Khan breathes the new. And he breathes the new in a way no other star has done, because he does it effortlessly, carelessly, and yet artfully.
Shah Rukh's youthful persona connected with the yearnings of a young urban society eager to embrace a world of infinite possibilities. In a series of performances, his movies created the first stirrings of a confident India, ready to take on the world. The film that first triggered such imagination was the romantic blockbuster Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, popularly known as DDLJ.
I think between 95, when DDLJ was made, to around 2000 was this phase when the Hindi film hero gradually shifted from being a non-Anglophile, a Hindi-speaking person from the cow belt, to a English-speaking person from the metropolitan cities who has all the brand consciousness of the metropolitan urban male.
डॉन का इंतजार तो 11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है, लेकिन डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल नहीं, नामुमकिन है.
In an era where consumerism became second nature, the pop culture messiah of the Indian dream, Shah Rukh Khan, was born. He redefined cool with the products he endorsed. The clothes he wore created trends. He gave birth to a new lingo, which became the anthem of Indian youth.
I love you.
He represents the intelligence of the liberal India. He represents the IQ of liberal India. He represents a very well-informed part of India. Definitely, and that has energy.
plucked from pure obscurity. He's managed to achieve not just moderate amounts of success and stardom, but super duper stardom, the kind of which we may not see in the next few generations. And there was no one great beguiling factor. He didn't really fight that hard. He didn't really romance that strongly. He wasn't the most gorgeous man on the block, but he made everything work for him. And I think that's kind of the part of the whole Shah Rukh Khan charisma.
And action.
हैप्पी दिवाली चलता रहता है बोल दूं फिर से हैप्पी दिवाली काजल भी आइसक्रीम समझ के थी
I'm not saying I'm special, but I think the kind of luck and breaks I got, you get only once in a lifetime. And I got them, I was at the right place, right time, took care of the opportunities, things went right for me. So I don't believe that everything is fated and just dependent on your fate, but somewhere down the line, you know, destiny played a large part in what I'm doing, how I came to Mumbai, why I came to Mumbai, how I shifted, who are the people I met first, what films released first, and things just went right from right to right to right to right till now.
For Indians the world over, Shah Rukh Khan is the iconic Bollywood star. Filmed in the US, My Name is Khan is the latest project by the hit team behind the Shah Rukh success story.
What is it?
They reinvented the heady cocktail of song and dance, melodrama and romance for a new generation.
Sound, please.
For a decade, his pairing with co-star Kajol has set screens on fire. But Shah Rukh Khan's journey to lead romantic hero began on a starkly different note.
Got it, very nice.
मैं तुम्हें आजाद कर रहा हूं मुझे माफ कर देना
It's pretty scary when you go back to those movies and you look at them, you see how vicious he is in those films, and he's, you know, stabbing people and throwing this poor Shilpa Shetty off the roof, and the audience was cheering for him.
Certainly, these dark heroes, these anti-heroes as they were called, were, I think, a sign of the apprehensions in the public mind. Bazigar registers the moment when the creed is no longer socialism. He is a person who's pursuing vengeance on his own, purely for personal reasons of undoing the wrong which has been done to his family. There was genuine apprehension. What would happen if socialism was no longer the guiding, shall we say, guiding belief in India?
The early 1990s were crossroads. India chose a more liberal economic path. And as the state retreated, in its place, individualism would gain ground. Bollywood movies at the time mirrored such uncertainties to reflect a society that was fast transforming.
I call Shah Rukh a star of that cusp, the transition phase, when things were changing. And the changes were manifesting themselves much faster in metros than in a smaller town India.
You had a country that was increasingly becoming westernized. It was all about, you know, the labels in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai were all across everyone's chest. You know, it was polo and Tommy Hilfiger and all of that. But it was all about Indian culture. So what they did was offer this great cocktail of a Western gloss in an Indian culture.
Shah Rukh Khan, in his next set of films, played characters by the name of Raj or Rahul. Through them, he captured the popular mood.
I'm Rahul. नाम तो सुना होगा.
The sensibilities they represented offered something fresh for a society ripe for new role models.
He had this magnetism and this charisma to begin with. He added that edge that I think secretly all women long for. And then he kind of evolved into this guy you want to take home and, you know, introduce your parents to in DDLJ.
At a time when value systems were changing rapidly, his cheeky character in the blockbuster DDLJ instantly struck a chord through its irreverence for established conventions.
I think Aditya Chopra was very clear. He had said that, you know, Raj had to be someone Tedha. He couldn't be Arun Govil from Ramayana. You know, it had to be somebody who's okay to, you know, to bend the boundaries and to actually lie and pretend and go into this family and pretend to be somebody else.
He's such a flippant individual, the hero called Raj, played by Shah Rukh Khan. He's so flippant, you'll take him to be immoral. Amoral, at least.
Stop it.
So what happens in this film, in the course of this film, is that this Raj demonstrates that though he appears to be flippant, he is still a moral being because he has faith in tradition.
Hey Simran, चाँद निकल आया। कहाँ? वो देखो।
The fact that he is willing to, you know, transgress certain boundaries is very attractive. But what's even more attractive is that he will not cross the boundaries that really matter, which is that he's not going to take advantage of you, even though you're drunk and lying in bed with him. So, you know, how can women not fall for that? I think this was a man who was both safe and dangerous.
In his on-screen avatar as a romantic hero, Shah Rukh Khan touched the fantasies of Indian men and women ready to embrace romance with abandon.
After all, he's the only star who can link Kajol, Madhuri, and a whole generation of other stars. He mediates between Salman and the Neanderthal nature of Sanjay Dutt. He mediates all these. Because he can broker all of them, you can only broker it if you have a touch of the feminine in you.
He was somebody who could enter feminine spaces. I mean, if you remember, there was a shot where he's in the kitchen and he's cutting sabzi. I mean, when was the last time you saw a hero do that? But that doesn't make him unmasculine.
अच्छा, तो Rahul Khanna हर Tuesday मंदिर आता है.
Oh shit, man. Yeah.
How sweet. कॉलेज में झूठ क्यों कहा था?
Actually वो लड़के मंदिर नहीं आते ना इसलिए.
पर तुम आते हो. हर हफ्ते आते हो.
Yeah.
How sweet.
Anything which was termed as pansy earlier, anything which was termed as softy earlier, became the traits of this male. And they were never sort of frowned upon. It's not like mard ko dard nahi hota.
I think what Shah Rukh did is he brought this new age of love, where a man really isn't afraid to wear his heart on his sleeve, will cry for a woman. He brought with him all these different nuances of love, which really make him such an accurate representation of what relationships are all about in this day and age.
There's a huge amount of reassurance there, how to take failure in your stride, how to put up with it, how to get the better of people who come in your way, get the better of circumstances, get the better of situations. And a huge amount of discourse there, and I think it's largely reassuring.
I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best.
Raj and Rahul symbolized the birth of individualism as India's traditional society hurtled into the 21st century.
He represents the self-pride of India. This is the way I am, and you got to accept me the way I am. I'm not going to behave the way you behave. Yes, I speak English, but I speak the English I know. I don't speak the English you know.
He was a perfect answer because he told you that you could be both. You could be Indian and you could be Western, and there was no conflict there. You know, you could love your parents and you could, you could ask for parental permission before you ran off with this woman, but you could also wear the designer clothes and look cool and live in New York, and, you know, so you could do everything.
The one thing he told me which stays with me is, like, I'm not apologetic about my success. I work really hard for it. I didn't have a godfather. I don't believe in role models. I don't believe in mentors. I came here with nothing. I worked my way through everything. And now that I'm successful, I want to enjoy my success, and I'm not afraid to enjoy.
There's no perk being a star. You work your ass off, so you have to do this. My mother taught me the 3 or 4 or 5 H's of life. But honesty, hard work, humor, and I think she said honor. The gene in your body, there should be a DNA in your body which tells you at the age of 21 to the age of 40, all you need to do is work hard. Nothing else matters. So these 5 or 6 things can, I hope I can stand for all this at the end of my tenure. Come and stand, and everybody just take the pictures. No rushing. You scream and shout, then I'll be arrested.
Shah Rukh Khan's fame transcends all boundaries. To Indians living abroad, Bollywood is religion, and Shah Rukh Khan, God.
Thank you so much.
Subhashin ka picture. Give it to someone.
Can you please? Can someone please?
Many argue that he's more popular with non-resident Indians than he is in India.
Every movie star has girls screaming for me. I'm the only guy who's got guys screaming for him. So I love you, man.
He's made films cool. He's made Bollywood cool, not just for Indians in India, but even for the NRI market. And he's done a lot for that.
So I think it's a fallacy to say that, yes, you know, he is an NRI star. I think what happened was that his movies were the ones that opened up that market. They opened up the overseas market, and therefore this whole thing of, you know, Shah Rukh's the one and he only appeals to NRIs, those were the movies that the NRIs loved to see the most. When they come to Bollywood, I think they want the homegrown food. They want, you know, comforting family narratives. They want the big song and dance. They want the family values that perhaps their children are not getting from American television and British television and those movies. So I think they connected in a very, very big way with these movies.
No. सुनिए, वो भारत से आया है.
भारत से आया तो सर मैं बिठा लूं क्या? मालूम है भारत की आबादी कितनी है? सब लोग यहाँ आ गए तो हम लोग कहाँ सोएंगे? नहीं, मैं ऐसा करता हूँ, मैं हीथ्रो एयरपोर्ट चला जाता हूँ, वहाँ पर जाकर खड़ा रहता हूँ और जो भी भारत से है उसे कहता हूँ भैया भैया आ जाओ हमारे घर में आ जाओ, हमारी भी पागल है.
This was you know, a man they could talk to. This was a man who would be great in their living rooms. So in that sense, he connected with the NRIs in every way, and he gave them something to every generation.
With Shah Rukh, it's as if, you know, he's a tapestry of identities. He's more like a spectrum. Each person in the diaspora can see one little band and say, that's me.
Meanwhile, in India, the turn of the century brought a proliferation of choices for a rising middle class, and with it, new dilemmas. Raj and Rahul were forced to grow up and reflect more mature themes. The romance of Shah Rukh Khan would take a darker turn.
Even in Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, which was flawed, I think, in its telling, but was inherently a sort of brave idea about dealing with divorce in an A-list, you know, infidelity and divorce in an A-list movie, and you have this, you know, the best and the most romantic star of the 90s then cheating on his wife. Raj and Rahul really don't have the currency and the relevance that they did, you know, when they first began. I think we've worked through that theme now. We're done with that. So he has to now move on and find the next theme.
The Indian film industry was rapidly transforming. Movies were reaching larger audiences as multiplexes mushroomed across the country. A space was created for cinema with fresh narratives. Shah Rukh Khan stars like Chak De India, Paheli and Rabane Banadi Jodi reflected the new trend.
He's been that man who has constantly evolved. Just when you know what to expect from Shah Rukh, he kind of comes out and surprises you. Be it with a role, be it with a new haircut, be it with a new look.
Never mind it.
The movie most iconic of this phase of Shah Rukh was Om Shanti Om, which he also produced.
It's very strange that Om Shanti Om is it's virtually no fiction in the sense that there's no credible fiction, there's no plausible fiction in which people believe. People can die, people can be reborn, people can come with the same face 20 years later. So basically it becomes a kind of, you could say Om Shanti Om is a kind of advertisement for Bollywood as a brand in some sense.
The film allowed Indians, young and old, to come together and celebrate nostalgia. Om Shanti Om was at once a tribute to Indian cinema and screen idols of yore. Shah Rukh Khan made retro cool.
It is not invention that is the form of genius. In India, imitation becomes the form of genius because it continuously reinvents itself. Shah Rukh got that. I think he got the essence of the new Bollywood.
हमारी फिल्मों की तरह हमारी जिंदगी में भी एंड तक सब कुछ ठीक ही हो जाता है. Happy's ending. और अगर ठीक ना हो तो वो the end नहीं. Picture अभी बाकी है मेरे दो. Picture अभी बाकी है.
To me, Om Shanti Om is a profoundly philosophical film because Shah Rukh is not conscious of that. In his very imitation, he creates himself. And in that sense, Shah Rukh is the genius of the new modernity.
In the Bollywood of the new millennium, the game had shifted. The silver screen was no longer the only screen to contend with.
It's okay.
Forums of exchange between the actor and the audience were multiplied.
Catch the eye. Can we change the name to I-10?
He's perhaps the star of the digital age because he's virtually molded in some way as a non-person in some sense.
I'm going to be consumed at different contact points. I'm going to be consumed in various forms as a brand. People like Shah Rukh, Amir, today's stars have a tougher job to do.
I think the media today is gradually moved out from news into advertising. By and large, it's an agent of publicity. I think he spotted that very well. So every single pronouncement of his on the media, of Shah Rukh Khan's on the media, is an advertisement for himself. He uses that. So the question is, he will never be caught. He'll never be caught revealing himself.
I want to thank God. I want to thank my mother. क्योंकि मैं चाह रहा था कि मैं भी बड़ा होके अपने पिता की तरह जोरू का गुलाम बनूं और आज मेरी हसरत पूरी हो गई. Thank you very much. I love you, Mom. And I love you, Dad. The PR image is something that I don't believe in. And I think having worked for 20 years, I don't even need it. I am my PR. I am who I am. And I think people will like me in spite of that on screen or because of that on screen. But I truly believe it's always in spite of that. Ki whoever I'm in personal life has got nothing to do with what you see on screen. I always tell people, I work for that image. I work for that character on screen. In my real life, I'm, the boring guy who's doing accounts in the back office in front of a big corporate, which is really swanky up front. So I am actually that boring guy working behind the scenes for this really swanky front of Shah Rukh Khan, the movie star.
Shah Rukh Khan's mystique began with a popular television series in the mid-80s. Through the 90s, his cinema connected with India's youth, making him the original metrosexual man. Now in his 40s, he dominates the small screen as an ambassador for multiple brands.
This is the male of the metros. So Shah Rukh's entrance and success in films happened, coincided with this change. And advertising people needed to sort of communicate. The brand, they needed to sell it to these people who had the most disposable income and power to buy. So they cater to those people. They relied on Shah Rukh a lot.
We don't want to wait like our parents did to enjoy to kind of wait for a great car to come our way or for that great house to come our way. I think it's so much more about instant gratification. It's so much more about seizing the day to day and enjoying what you have today. In that sense, he's a complete consumer's child. He's a child of complete consumerism.
वही तो कर रहा है.
वहां पे जाओ, ज्यादा विश करो. जीना चाहते हो मेरी जिंदगी?
This is the lifestyle man who emphasizes new values, new frameworks, new opportunities, a new idea of the body, and the fact that you can be all these and none of these because the next fashion is different.
At the same time, you will not see him endorsing an underwear. At the same time, you will see there is a difference there. You will not see him endorsing a shaving cream. So the quintessential, the out and out masculine is not what is associated with Shah Rukh. What is associated with him is this new age male.
आज मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ मेरी खूबसूरती का राज. Lux. अब बताइए.
Only Shah Rukh could model Lux. I mean, Dharmender could do Lifebuoy. Some of the others could do Dove because it's not a soap and this man is not a... This guy can do masculinity, femininity in a new grammar. Shah Rukh is the new grammar that must be emphasized. Lux is only a symptom of that.
I think a big part of Shah Rukh's success, like I've said, has been this careful thought that he has given to how he is going to project himself. I don't think anything has been done just carelessly.
5 जिन्होंने हौसला दिया, एक जिसने सर पर छत दी, एक आदमी जिसको मुझ पर विश्वास था.
Conscious of his fairy tale rise, Shah Rukh Khan nostalgically acknowledges his early life struggles in a TV commercial.
तब भी मेरे 4 दोस्त थे, अकेले.
In a country desperate for heroes, his conquest of Bollywood as an underdog struck a chord with millions of Indians looking to shape their individual destinies.
I think so much of his success and all the stories you read about him, you can almost never escape where he came from. The whole the circus 4G days, how he came to Bombay, how he wooed Gauri, how he struggled when he was staying with Vivek Vaswani, all those days. It's almost like you have been following and charting Shah Rukh's success with him.
I'm often, chat with him and found him talking about, his days in Delhi, in college canteens, how he used to do, what kadki, when we didn't have much money, how he used to sort of deal with that, how he used to pull in money. So all those things, there's a respect for that. He doesn't block those things from inside. That's the reason he connects with people.
In yet another TV commercial, Shah Rukh Khan and his on-screen partner play a graceful old couple. An aging Shah Rukh still represents the quintessential romantic, cherishing the timelessness of family and love. An image, perhaps, not too far from the reality of his own life.
It's perhaps the desertion of, morality from Hindi cinema being morality deserting Hindi cinema, which makes it necessary for film stars to be moral beings in their personal life.
It was also the whole thing, the whole persona of him with, with Gauri, with the 2 children, this sort of wholesome happy Bollywood family that you know, that I think absolutely fed into the whole myth of who he is.
Straight and right once you go in.
There is an inherent curiosity to know what's next, where next, and he's allowed you that access. And I think that's been a very clever move on his part to allow peeks into his lives, whether there are moments with his daughter and his son which make you feel like he's a great dad, whether it is fussing and fawning over Gauri from time to time and making those public appearances with her, which makes you feel like he's a great husband. You know, interestingly, when we shot Gauri for our Jan cover last year, I managed to see the dynamic between the couple. I was witness to the dynamic between the couple, and the one thing you can note is that they really represent what a modern Indian marriage and a modern Indian relationship is all about.
Where are these? Go have Seema and all come.
They're inside.
They are inside.
Come on.
Come.
No, Dad.
I'm covering your lunch. What? That's how
You'd almost feel that there would be a power play with him being this big superstar and her being the star wife. But pretty much he is a star in his own domain and she is a star in her own domain. And he respects that and he doesn't mess around with that.
But life needs intimacy, privacy, and the integrity of one human relationship. A man and a woman, friendship, the relation between father and son, or mother and daughter, or father and daughter. Just one little role can sustain the drama of other selves. But he says that must remain a mystery. That must be unsaid, untold. And that is the one invitation to the self you cannot have. And to me, a tribute to Shah Rukh Khan is eventually a tribute to Gauri Khan. As a woman, not just as a role, wife, provider, mother, no. I think she globalizes all their roles into the intimacy of the family. In fact, to me, that is the most brilliant performance.
Some very big and important people in the industry have told me, you know, Shah Rukh ji, what is important for you? People like you also because you're a family man. Okay, so then I'm not a good actor. I mean, it's dependent on my family. So I say if I want to succeed, maybe that's the thing. I'm so smart, I've realized that just be a family man and you become a big star. So I'll continue being a good family man. So I'll be extra nice to my wife and my kids. And hopefully it'll all work out.
Shah Rukh Khan's journey to the top of his game only partly explains his phenomenal success. What is it that made the screen idol an icon of his times?
He is a role model for modern, contemporary, post-liberalized India, because I think for kids to see this guy who is self-made, you know, and a guy who was brave enough to break the rules and who was, you know, brave enough to walk into this whole environment, which was at that time fairly stodgy and very much about nepotism and, you know, family dynasties. And he walks in there and he completely wrecks that whole thing.
Shah Rukh Khan is a process that isn't over. In that sense, he intrigues me, he troubles me, he entertains me, and yes, for a sociologist, he is utterly fascinating.
Shah Rukh Khan has the unique ability to switch between multiple personalities, allowing him to engage in multiple pursuits.
If you want, Karan, if you want the structure to be better, we can take a few without this one. Yeah.
There are men who are creative and there are men who are commercial, and then there's a rare breed of that man who can marry commerce with creativity. the risks he took were fairly calculated risks. I don't even think that Shah Rukh is the kind of person who will go into something purely into the dark without knowing what the outcome is. I mean, he must have had some sort of a careful assessment of what the end result is going to be.
Shah Rukh Khan is a trendsetter with a finger on the pulse of India. In 2008, he solemnized the marriage of Bollywood and cricket by buying the Kolkata Knight Riders, a team in the newly minted Indian Premier League.
Boss, now I can pass away and die.
He brings controversy to cricket, because that's the only way you can create new imaginations for cricket. He speeds it up. And in that sense, I think he's an entrepreneur. And I think he'll try these new ventures. He'll go in, catalyze something, stay for a while and move.
Shah Rukh is representative of India on transit. India is going through a transition, which is the most complex phase. The morality of India is yet to be decided. And Shah Rukh has that comfort with this absolute uncertainty, confusion, and this grey area in which India stays today.
In a land which worships its idols, his is a mythic journey. His success story, both on and off screen, reassures, comforts, and provides hope and cheer in a time of incredible transformation.
This is a generation that knows to laugh. Laugh at itself. Wit or half wit, I'm not bothered. You need both for a Bollywood. Shah Rukh combines both. He has intelligence, he has the wit, he can be absolutely stupid. But Bollywood and India need stupidity, because stupidity is life-saving. And Shah Rukh has that.
You know, Shah Rukh is like an old young man or a young old man, if you look at it both ways. I think what keeps him young is his interest in life. What keeps him young is his energy levels, the fact that he's bouncing with energy, whether you meet him first thing in the morning or you meet him last thing in the night. There's something so childlike and exciting about him. He's always excited.
Yeah, okay.
Both of you, I'll teach you a fight. Awesome fight, I'll teach you.
Kissing tail.
Take me, Raja, take. See? Once more. Did you see the trick? Did you see the trick? Now you fight with Shah Rukh.
But don't really hit him.
Now you can go.
He wants you to love him. And he said that his sense is that because Shah Rukh lost his parents when he was so young, he's trying to make up for that loss in a way with sort of replacing them with the audience. And he's kind of connecting with the audience in that way. It's a very direct connection.
I think he's the only actor who doesn't smile. He has a kind of smirk. A smirk which is almost a brand value. Because if you look at it carefully, he's the only actor who doesn't laugh.
She got it. You got it.
The one price he pays for his multiple selves, the smile doesn't extend to each of them.
I can't laugh in real life. I've got a problem. I can't smile in real life. My kids also make fun of him. Papa, laugh na. And then we have this joke. He says, Papa, you laugh so funny. Everyone tells me. My wife tells me, everyone. I can't laugh. And sometimes, like if I'm sitting with my friends, I know just recently I was sitting with a few guys and girls, and you know, I started laughing at something. And they're like, there's something wrong with you. And I said, oh shit, you're laughing. You know, and when sometimes, seldom, when I do laugh. So, but as an actor, it's a problem. You can't laugh when you're called upon to do so. So I found a way around it.
The set of this Shah Rukh Khan starrer may look distinctively Middle American, but the location is Mumbai. Bollywood is finally going Hollywood, and King Khan, as he's popularly known, is leading the charge. With his crossover film, My Name is Khan, India's multifaceted screen icon is reaching out to the world.
Got it. He's a new kind of kaleidoscope, full of broken identities, full of pain, yet with an intensity and a beauty which is new, which is contemporary, which is global, and being constantly invented.
I see him sort of getting into a slightly more, into a space which has more gravitas, which is less about the styling and the songs, but which has more texture in terms of acting, which has more layers, which has perhaps more complicated narratives. I think he's done all the candy floss stuff. I don't think he can go back to that.
The Western world marks history simply by BC and AD. I mark it by the moment I first saw you. After a lifetime of being different...
Will Shah Rukh Khan's quest for international superstardom make Indian cinema genuinely accessible to global audiences?
मुझे कभी एक मुसलमान के साथ शादी नहीं करनी चाहिए थी. Go right now, go.
I think over a period of time, this thing of the Indian is gradually leaving Hindi cinema, and I think that is what these international sojourns of Shah Rukh Khan helped packaged entertainment of a certain kind, which once had its origins in India, but which are no longer Indian except in the way chicken tikka masala is Indian.
The thing is that Indian markets have evolved. The Indian urban markets have evolved. The sensibilities have changed. And maybe you can make it meet somewhere.
His meteoric rise over the last 2 decades mirrors the story of India. Will he now help write its next chapter as a global superpower? The phenomenal Shah Rukh Khan may be just the man to broker such dreams.
He's a collection of mythemes running after new visions and new ideas. I think that you need. So he's saying, I'm a pack of cards. I shuffle myself, therefore I am. Then he says, you shuffle me, therefore you also are.
He's a kind of black box, what you put in, you take out kind of thing.
I'm an actor, and I'm a good actor. So, you'll never know. And I like that game. That's why I don't live by an image. When people say that I have this image, half the people don't even know who I am. But there is an image, so it's okay. I have not tried to create it. I don't push it. I don't try to blow it out of proportion. I say what I feel like at any given point of time. So if you pick up an interview which is 5 years old, maybe what I'm saying now is completely different from what I've said 5 years ago, and they're both true. And they both define me. And they both define me simultaneously because I'm the same person.